Hello everyone, thank you for joining in. Welcome to our first ever webinar on enhancing employee experience with AI-powered HR and payroll. I am Shivani Sharma, part of marketing team at Task Group of Companies and your host for this session. The purpose of this webinar is to gather and share knowledge on how we can make employee experience even better at workplace. Over the next 45 minutes, we'll dive into one of the most fascinating topics running in the world right now, artificial intelligence, and how it is impacting the realms of human resources and payroll. We'll try and make it interesting, exciting, and insightful for you. For this session, we have assembled a panel of experts and leaders. And the agenda of the session is to have a list of questions answered by these panelists who generally get asked these questions during their client meetings. And if you have anything specific that you want them to answer, please go ahead and drop it in this comment section, your question. We'll try and answer them during the end of the session. Thank you so much. Let's start. Okay, so now let me introduce our panel of experts and thought leaders from HR and HR Tech fraternity. On to my left, I have Anirudh Ghosh from Task Corporate Services, Senior Vice President, and he's recently been featured in CIO Times Magazine as one of the most influential HR leader in the Middle East. On to my extreme left, I have Anna Vasileva, who is a head HR Menga from Electrolux Group, who enjoys making and going on trips and has recently opened herself to the world of yoga. On to my extreme right, we have Fiza Sabir, Senior People Advisor and Emiratization Lead at DNV, who loves to keep up with latest trends around finance and real estate sector. And I'm sure to my and everyone else's surprise, she's an ex-musician and singer. Lovely to know that. Moving on to next, we have Milind Trivedi, Sales Director from Ramco System. And again, next surprise, he has driven from Dubai to Scotland, a complete adventurous person on the panel today. Thank you everyone for joining in and welcome.
Thank you, Shivani.
Thank you, Shivani.
I can see people are still joining in, but considering we have a limited time slot, let's start with the questions now. I will start first with you, Anna. Being an HR leader, you work for a global brand, Electrolux. How has the advancement, according to you, AI advancement has influenced the future of HR and payroll in MENA region, specifically in UAE?
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for the questions, Shivani. Yeah. Well, let me start with some numbers, maybe. There was a research made by Oracle globally that actually 50% of all workers, they currently do use AI in their working places. And actually more than 2/3 of everybody who works in corporates, they're looking forward to have robots as their co-workers. However, the same research asking HR professionals how excited you are about having AI making your payroll showed that only 1/3 of us saying, okay, we're so much looking forward to that. And this is surprising because actually now we do have a lot of AI and a lot of implementation in our payroll processes. However, if we look deeper into that, we don't have the full implementation of AI, right? Which is something which is exceeding cognitive human abilities, actually. What we do have, we have something which is called RPA, Robotic Process Automation, and which really simplify and make all the routine and all the repetitive tasks, transactional tasks, making that on behalf of humans. And that's amazing. So payroll by nature is very transactional. We know that. Yeah, and there are a lot of data inputs. There are a lot of management of repetitive questions, repetitive tasks, and so on. So I'm very positive about the future, yeah, and I'm really looking forward of AI changing the nature of payroll, from putting our time and efforts on these transactional operations to something which we will bring more value to the business, which we will give more inputs to the business with more accuracy in forecast, with more accuracy and execution. And of course, which is not the last, we will give much more satisfaction to our people in the team. So the future looks quite amazing from my side.
Yeah, I can only say AI has dramatically changed and still molding the ways that we operate in professional or personal lives. Um, you want to add something onto this?
No, I think it was very well articulated, and as you said, AI going to change many things, right? It is going to take away a lot of transactional effort that today HR is putting in, and I think it will bring a lot of space for the HR leaders to do something more strategic.
Yes.
I think that's going to happen very, very soon, and it's on the way. True.
Okay. So my next question is to you, Anirudh, and as I know you very well, how enthusiastic you are towards the world of AI and how supremely keen you are to learn and know what is new in this AI world. According to you, what trends or innovations can we expect in the next few years that will further revolutionize the employee experience in general?
Thanks for the question, Shivani. I think it's a great question you asked. And last evening, when both of us were sitting down and planning this together, I put some points together. So things are changing at a very rapid pace, you know. So my professor from Cambridge, Dr. Sudhanshu Palusule, said there's a tsunami of change coming our way. And it is coming at such a pace that our minds can't even, manage to adapt to it, right? The pace is so fast and so much. Over the last few years, there are many technologies which has come into play, right? But there are 4 key technologies in the HR space which I think is going to transform how HR operates. One of them is AI and ML, which we call artificial intelligence and machine learning. As Anna said, artificial intelligence is going to take away all non-decision making tasks. It is going to take away all tasks which is repetitive. To an extent, it will get embedded in recruitment processes. You know, it is going to start sourcing CVs. It is going to start purging CVs. It is going to start interviewing people at a stage, right? The second technology, which is extremely mind-blowing, is metaverse. When I was reading through it, I went to the Crypto Expo, and the things that is happening in the metaverse space is amazing, right? Today, with virtual reality and artificial intelligence put together, it's transforming the entire HR function. Microsoft is onboarding people on metaverse. They can actually put a virtual reality class and get into an induction session, see all the leaders across the world, meet them at one go. Imagine what it is going to do. Learning and development, amazing changes. You can actually be in a virtual classrooms, right? The third technology, which I think is going to make a huge impact, is employee-based technologies, which is going to impact your life from a mental health perspective. Today, it's a huge topic of discussion, mental health. I think we are going to see a lot of technologies coming, which is helping people in their mental health, in their financial health, and in their physical health. It is going to bring in a lot of interventions in how you manage your life beyond employment. And the last technology, which is already in play, I think so, and me and Milind were talking about it because Ramco is absolutely in it, is cloud-based technologies. With the remote workforce coming into play, cloud-based technology is going to transform how HR functions operate. It's going to bring efficiencies, it is going to bring speed and accuracy. And backed by AI, I think it is going to transform the whole process of how HR functions. Hope that answers your question.
Of course it does. Thank you. Thank you for explaining it in such a detailed way. And I'm sure metaverse, all of these terminologies that you've used, it is great to know and learn about them. Moving on to the next question. This one is for you, Milind. You being the leader in Ramco, which is a leading organization for providing software solution for payroll services in the MENA region. What unique capabilities do you think Ramco could provide or could bring to the table while providing payroll solutions specifically for organizations in UAE?
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Shivani, for having me on this elite panel. I'm really honored. I think to start with, I would straight start agreeing with Anirudh in terms of the AI and the ML bringing into the recruitment onboarding piece. That's something which is imperative as we speak, and that's a future. Coming to the coverage of Ramco and what capabilities we have in terms of offering. See, it's very unique because the global coverage, because payroll is one of the most complex solutions to have for any organization, especially when we speak about the multinationals, about multi-country, etc. So payroll becomes very complex, and yet it's the heart of the system. So covering the compliance of about 150 countries becomes very important. What we bring on the table, plus the large scale employee processing, the payslip processing, and especially with the reliability we bring on board as a managed services partners with the task corporate services, that adds a lot of value in the region. Although we have, as I said, we've got a global coverage, but I would stress upon the Middle East specific when we look at UAE, or when we look at the GCC from a compliance standpoint. Although we don't have income tax as of now, but yeah, I think from the local compliance, be it WPS in UAE or be it COSI in Saudi, so this is all incorporated in the system. That's one value. When it comes to, again, going back to the region, the multi-country, the multi-currency, and the multi-lingual, because we are diverse here in the Middle East, right? In the Dubai itself, it's a melting pot for the cultures and for the nationalities. So therefore, bringing in the value of multiple currencies embedded into the system gives a lot of personalized touch to the employee, because we're talking about employee experience as well. And addressing that with a multi-currency, because when you pay out, it's in your currency, you have a personal touch, and it becomes an ease for the payroll administrator. And I think it's imperative for the organizations here to have a system which is reliable and which is scalable as well, because Dubai or UAE or GCC is kind of a regional headquarters for the Middle East, Africa, and Turkish, the larger region. So the organizations always look at a reliable system or a vendor which can help them scale up at the next level. So we bring in a lot of features and a lot of solutions on board, and AI and ML, obviously, as Anirudh explained, it's been on the forefront, because we started working on AI since 2018, and we brought that particular change into the system with chatbots and machine learning, of course. I think that answers your question.
Yes, to a great extent. Thanks for answering it. I think definitely it is making operating, running a business easier in the region. So the next question is back to you, Anirudh. And I believe you will answer this question completely from your heart, because I think this has the most relevance to you. Okay, so when corporates are planning to outsource their payroll or HR services, what are the key consideration one should keep in mind while taking that decision in that decision-making phase?
I think, again, a great question. So it's a very deep question, right? So outsourcing is a decision an organization makes after a very deep thought, right? As Ben Eubanks says, and I was reading this book a couple of days back, so he said, he's the author of the HR tech revolution. He says, technology is not a replacement for human connection, but it can be a powerful tool for enhancing it. Yeah. While reading through the book, I came to this conclusion that end user experience should be the core of this whole outsourcing process, right? Anything that we do, we decide, it should take the user experience at the core of that decision making. And I'm very big on it, and I'm sure the HR leaders with me today, Anna and Fiza, would thoroughly agree with it, right? I think you should find a partner or a solution provider when you're outsourcing who can enhance that user experience for you while you're deciding to outsource. And in today's world, technology is a great enabler for that. Hence, how I conclude this response would be, and I think Anna and Fiza can add to it, is that when you're outsourcing, one of the main key considerations you should have is that is your outsourcing partner has the technology backbone or the strength to deliver that user experience. And that was one of the reasons when Task Corporate Services was getting into the payroll services business. Milind, you would remember we had a long chat that Ramco and Task Corporate Service would come together to make sure that in the market we deliver that value to our end users. So that would be my response on this subject.
Okay, I think thank you for answering this. It's quite evident employee experience or experience is central to everything that we do, whether it is paying a bill or receiving a paycheck.
Shivani, I would like to add to
Yes,
Anirudh's comments
Yeah.
about the payroll and selecting a reliable partner, because payroll is so close to our heart. You know, a lot of emotions attached to your payslip and your payroll, the date that you're paid, the accuracy of payroll. So while selecting the partner to work for outsourcing enabled by AI or any other technology, we need to ensure that accuracy, the trust, the confidence, because we could be doing thousands of great jobs processing payroll, and one mistake can really hurt your brand, your reputation, even the HR function overall, which employees will hold you responsible for the rest of, their career with the organization.
So true. So true.
Absolutely. And
So true.
Brilliant. I think thank you for adding on to this, Fiza. Adding on to the same question, how do you ensure that these AI-driven technologies are effectively integrated, Anirudh? Actually contribute to a positive employee experience?
So this is interesting, right? Transformation is not easy. The key to any transformation is the acceptance of the technology by the end user, right? Whoever uses that technology. I still remember we were talking about it while having a cup of coffee the other day, right? When Task brought in the chatbot first in its organization, we call it IDA. There was a huge doubt and resistance by the users that whether it can do the job of an HR, right? From a perspective of answering queries. And it is so funny that the first day people started asking him, can I apply for a leave, right? And it started answering, right? Yes. And then you can put in the date and it starts working, right? So, and then we started putting in words like, can I take a day off? And it did not answer, right? It got confused. And it took almost 6 months for it to get integrated with the system, right? So as we see, the transformation will only come, and AI, whether you call about AI, ML, or any technology for that matter, it will only happen if the end user acceptance is there. And for that, I think Fiza mentioned outside when we were sitting is that stakeholder buy-in is extremely important in that journey.
Yes, I think I agree with all of you, whatever you have said, and especially the emotional aspect for payroll. So I think because we are in the business, we know what is behind it. Like for people outside, even when I was not a part of Task, salary was just a transaction.
Correct.
You process it, I should get it. But that emotional aspect behind is something that we all need to know.
Correct.
And especially in the business, it's great. All right, moving on to the next question. This one is for you, Fiza. I have seen you doing many such sessions at many big forums. If you could help us know some of the strategies that you would recommend for organizations who are looking to start this AI-driven HR payroll transformation journey.
Sure. Thanks, Shivani, for the question. It has been highlighted by all of you that the adoption of technology will remain one of the key drivers in digital transformation for many, many organizations in the next 5 years and beyond. I was reading and mentioning this morning about this wonderful report from the World Economic Forum, The Future of Jobs. And the company surveyed around 800 companies around the world took a part in this survey. And above 85% of those surveyed, they stated that they are embracing a new technology, new and frontier technology, as well as they are widening their digital access as part of their business and the strategy transformation. And back to your point, Anurud, when you mentioned about the technologies, which technologies are hot these days. Again, the same report suggests, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, big data. This is something that most organizations will look forward in adopting. And when the business is going through such tremendous transformation, there is an increased pressure for us as HR leaders to do something about it and to transform our HR and payroll functions too. However, this is a change. We need to understand why we're doing it and how we're going to do it. What is the cost involved and who are impacted with this change and the transformation? Going back to stakeholder, buy-in from the stakeholder and senior leadership, the end user, who are the employees, whose job could be affected, and they may be having fears in their mind or concerns about losing their jobs, being replaced by robots and AI. It is our job to make sure the communication and transparency in what we communicate is there. And we cannot just transform everything overnight. There's so many functions in HR that can be transformed, but we can start from somewhere and identifying that roadmap. Employee self-service, as you mentioned, the chatbots, quite common, the interview schedulers or the CV screening, some of these functions day to day, which are repetitive, mundane. This is something that, we could start as HR leaders defining as part of digital transformation. I hope that answers your question.
I think, yes, absolutely. I think having a plan, whatever we are doing, decide, do, feedback, all of these are like stages of anywhere whenever we are doing a transformation journey.
Yeah.
Okay. Going to the next question. Again to you, Fiza. How can corporates ensure a seamless implementation? Of course, you said that there is a roadmap to be designed before the implementation happen. But while the implementation is happening, and after that also, how can we make it seamless to maximize the benefits for employees and for the overall business growth?
Yeah, I mean, your previous question is quite interlinked to this question as well.
Yeah.
We are experiencing phenomenal times with fourth industrial revolution and adoption of different technologies, which defines how we work, where we work from, the type of jobs and the skills needed for future. For us HR leaders, when we drive this change, keeping senior leadership and stakeholders and employees involved and included in this change will ensure we are in line with the company culture. Let's not forget the culture plays an important role while we're driving this change, and this change is welcomed by every level at the organization. I will probably summarize 3 key elements in order to have a successful implementation from your leadership and employee level. Again, I'm going back to that fear element because that's what we hear on and on again. But our job by implementing AI is not to really replace humans, rather look for new skills where we need to train our workforce, and how we're going to do this training, how we will upskill. Thousands of employees, they never set a foot in the office these days. We all work remotely. We have hybrid work model. How we will ensure they all have access, equal access and fair access to the training and development. And early buy-in from our stakeholders and the senior leadership, because someone will have to pay the cost of it, right? Let's not forget about the cost. Communication and transparency, what we're doing and how we're going to do that. Timely communication back to your employees. Testing is another important factor. We need to test the technology at every stage. We all work for global organizations, and when we roll out this technology, boom, it's nice. But when it comes to local specifics, have we considered local, legislation, the tax impact? maybe some employment related or labor relations in that specific locality. And we have observed several failures if we don't include all the small elements in that specific location. Maybe Milind, you can talk about the compliance when
Sure.
things go wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, go
Sorry,
ahead.
yeah. I was just saying, Milind, that if you would like to add, because at Ramco you must have seen some big integrations happening with the AI and the HR process at many organizations,
Right.
bigger organizations. Would you like to add something onto this?
Certainly, yes. I think Fiza did mention all the relevant and important points when it comes to the large scale implementations or the transformation we bring in, right, from a leadership perspective. I mean, I could go back and quote or probably share an experience or two experiences we've had with large scale clients. So one is a large scale transformation we did in Abu Dhabi, where we started the project. We had to divide into multiple phases. So we split into 5 phases because it was a massive project. Even then, we had resistance from the end users and from the admins, because there's always constant fear that I might lose this job. I don't know how to use the system, and there would be multiple questions, right? So that's a time when the management took the decision. They said, okay, let's encourage them, let's empower them, and let's incentivize them. So incentive is something like you take an extra day off. You have your family days. We have in the office, we've got a lot of family days and so on. So they brought in a lot of personalized touch when it comes to the decision making. Plus, I think there are 4 things which I usually refer a lot when it comes to large scale implementation, which is RATE. So responsibility, authority, training, and empowerment. So if these 4 things are taken in a right direction, I think it adds a lot of value. The second example, if I can quote here, is with another Irish large HVAC company where we did a massive transformation on digital. So they implemented, and with the evolution of chatbots, after 3 years of implementation, we did a case study, and they came up with about saving 2,000 hours. Because chatbot could do 80% of transactions. So the HR was focusing more on strategic decisions rather than answering trivial questions. What is my leave balance? What is my salary deductions?
Yeah.
So these kind of transform. So here we don't lose jobs, right? We transform. We use the resources in more strategy and planning.
Yeah.
So, if I may just add to that, so when we were doing a migration for a payroll managed services for a fintech company, Shivani, which is a new business line in this part of the world, a new industry which is flourishing quite well. To what Milind said, understanding of the region was not there with them because they were new to this region itself, right? So they were coming for the first time in this region, and they trusted us to get that implementation done. And again, thanks to the technology, thanks to also the AI behind it, right? Because now AI has become in such a way, and Fiza, that makes the job of implementation a bit easy, right? Because now AI does a lot of work which project managers at the ground level had to do it, right? So it brought in the localization instantly in the system, which helped us implement it quicker, faster, and without any error for those people. So that gives them a lot of confidence that the AI which is playing around the payroll part is going to be aligned to the regulatory laws. Sorry, I think Anna wanted to add something to that.
Yeah, actually, I'm very inspired by the topic that Milind you brought, how much AI impact us as a HR function. Yeah.
True.
And we all remember, how we started with the documents, with the
Right.
discussions about leaves, about pay slips, and that was also business perception.
Correct.
Yeah, and that was the value of the function. And now it's changing that we can be real business advisors. Yeah, we can bring value, we can see the bigger picture, and we can help business in many decisions. Yeah. One more topic in HR, which personally I'm very excited about, is talent management. Correct. We do live an exciting time from very different perspectives. And currently, if we think about it, our workplace has 5 generations. 5 generations with different values,
Correct.
with different ways of learning, from something with what we call video clip mindset, like then there is assumption that like some guys, they will not be able to learn on something which lasts more than two minutes, right? And we're having podcasts of 40 minutes now, right? To the point that like there are guys who like reading and who like classroom training. How you can take all this into account, understanding that you also belong to some generation, and you're also quite biased. And then here we can speak about personalized learning solutions, like based on the preferences, based on your career aspirations, based on your values. And that's amazing, right? And that's something beyond any kind of like cognitive human capabilities. So it's truly inspiring, I agree.
Brilliant. I think thanks for sharing your views on one single topic. I think this is what the panel is doing, bringing in so many views from different parts of the world and experiences. Okay, moving on to the next question. This is for you, Anna. In what ways does AI contribute for payroll accuracy? Ultimately instilling the confidence and that peace of mind in employees that yes, this will go through in right time with the right thing, right way.
I think we started to open the question, right? And there were amazing examples brought by Milan and by Anirudh. Yeah? Let me maybe build a little bit on that. Sure. Yes, so automated decisions, no more routine operations, no more repetitive tasks, no more data input. Then compliance, like we have amazing region with our people located all across Middle East and Africa. So we need to follow the legislation. We need to understand all the changes which are happening. So let's imagine the tool which will not only follow all the changes, but will inform you and inform from the practical part, like what exactly you need to do, and will do it absolutely in time. That's amazing. So employee data management, all the changes, passports, status, like addresses, payroll details, like they're never ending. So what if our systems will have 100% data accurate online, like live data, like it's not okay, but this change happened 2 days after the payroll and that's why you guys haven't got the salary. No more of these examples. Then fraud, like that's a little bit of nightmare of each HR professional, then you approve the payroll, which I do actually every month, still there is a little bit of thought, okay, I hope I have kind of like checked it all manually, we're all humans.
Correct.
So the tool can give us ability to see the differences, to see all the deviations, and like to highlight exactly what we should pay attention to, like rather than spending time checking and rechecking something. And last but not the least, this is what you guys are speaking about, that's employee experience. 24/7, right? The moment then our guys want to find out all their repetitive questions about leaves, about like payments, about balances and so on and so far, there is a resource which is accurately and in full give these answers. That's amazing. So future looks quite bright, but you see like what is interesting for me, I believe we're still on the way. I did a small exercise, like I asked ChatGPT, so what are the most complex countries for the payroll in the world? So, and the answer was France, Brazil, Italy, India, and China. And then I asked why. And the answer was that it's the most frequent repetitions, the most frequent
1.2 billion people, Anna, India.
Exactly.
Changes are obvious.
The most frequently information that they can find, like online. Is it 100% accurate? I'm not sure. Like from my knowledge of legislation, such Western European countries as Belgium, has extremely complex payroll.
Correct.
Belgium is not in the list. And that's a very simple example, but what point it gives? So to what Fiza was saying, there is no 98% even accuracy with payroll. It's either 0 or 100%. So this example gives us a little bit of reflection that we are on the way. Still this information is very accurate, very close to be ideal, but maybe not 100% yet. However, I'm sure that it's a matter of when, not if, when the next payroll platform will have absolutely AI-generated solutions and experience, like for us as for HR and for our people.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for answering that. I think it's quite comforting to know that yes, with AI, the human errors are getting eliminated, because I have experienced myself getting a wrong salary. You just lose your mind, no matter if I have received it for 12
Especially if it's
straight
the
months,
bedtime.
but 1 month you miss it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so me and Anna were talking about it. I don't know how many of us, I'm sure most of us remember our first pay slip coming to us,
Yeah, we
right?
do.
Our first salary.
It was manual.
Yeah, I imagine if that one goes wrong, right? So imagine if it doesn't come on time or if it does have an error. It's interesting, Anna, where we started our payroll journey so many years back and where we are today and how AI is going to transform this whole journey in the future.
True.
Okay. Moving on to the next question. This is for you, Milind. If you could share some examples of how AI-driven payrolls have addressed compliance challenges, particularly when dealing with different tax structures, wage laws, and benefits of various regions. Like within MENA, there is so many difference in the laws and regulations.
Right. I think very valid question, I guess. See, the AI-driven systems have, there were days when you, or probably even today in some countries, some organizations, you still see a lot of things happening manually without the AI-enabled or AI-infused payroll systems, right? Prone to errors, of course. But things have changed in the last about 5 years, especially when we start working with the regional and the multinationals. So systems are designed to handle and interpret changes, especially when it comes to income tax, when it comes to the local regulations, when it comes to the payout for overtime or bonuses and so on, because these are all variables. And interpreting these changes and bringing it onto the systems or ensuring there is no error is a key task, because paychecks is very sentimental, it's very personal. One error or $1 or dirham or anything here and there would really hit me. Plus, I think how it can also benefit, or it's been benefit, I would say rather, is the real-time updates and upgrades. Because having again, going back to the core topic, we've got AI, right? Artificial intelligence and machine learning. So with the RPA, we call RPA as a robotic payroll automation, not only the process, but in our context, it is more of a robotic process, a payroll automation. So that brings in the elements of identifying the anomalies, because the engine of anomaly and discrepancies in the payroll is a big challenge, because you process a payroll or you do a readiness check if at all the system allows you, right? So you do a readiness check and you know, okay, there is an error, and you have a time to stop and do your payroll again. Now that's an interesting piece where AI bridges these gaps. And we've also been working on the behavioral and predictive analysis. So that brings in another piece of automation, because last 3 months, your payroll was processed with 5 errors. This month, it's gone with 1 error. So therefore, the amount of time invested using the ML and the predictive analysis becomes very important for especially large organizations, and in this region and elsewhere as well, because the headcount, here we are intensive, be it construction or manufacturing, the headcount is huge, retail. So a 10,000 or 5,000 workforce and 1 error puts things off, I guess. So
Brilliant. Thanks for explaining that, Milind.
Pleasure.
Next question is for you, Anirudh. Our brand echoes the most with the term compliance, and we being the knowledge partner for many in the region. What are the potential fines or penalties that organization could face if there is a non-compliance in payroll process in UAE or in GCC region?
Interesting. But before I get to that answer, just to add what Milind said is, on the AI side, I think there's a huge transformation coming around this facial recognition as well in the retail space. So Now you don't even have to punch data in. It is actually there, reading your facial recognition, and it is putting you in the attendance system as well. So that's again a huge transformation coming on the payroll from an AI perspective, and that helps in managing the compliances in other region. And that links back to my response to you, Shivani, on the compliance. So good part of compliance is binary, right? Either you have met or you have not met. So it doesn't have much of a gray space in it. And non-compliance is not only a financial loss, and I will call upon Milind after my response because he will give you some great statistics around it. But I believe that it is more than financial, is also an employee experience and the trust of that individual towards the organization. I think both Anna and Fiza would echo that thought, But having said that, UAE, Saudi Arabia, and GCC being a very foreign worker-led countries, I think government keeps a very, very close check on the compliance of the payroll. And Task being a staffing organization with 5,000 plus people outsourced there, payroll has been our core. And thanks to the technology that helped us drive it. Fines can range from 5,000 dirham to up to 100,000 actually in this part of the world. And you can actually get your license, your portal, everything at risk, and you might not be able to do business at all, right? Along with that, there's a huge brand equity issue. Your brand can get impacted, right? Your reputation can get impacted in the market. So compliance is multifaceted, right? It has a financial impact, it has a brand impact, it has a trust impact. So Milind and I were sitting outside, and Milind was sharing some numbers. Milind, what financials that you were sharing with me that would be interesting for the audience to know?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'll touch upon that. But before that, I think you mentioned about the branding, right? So that has a huge impact as well, because when I look at a job, when I look at joining a company, the first thing is the website. The first thing is about news of that company.
Correct.
And the employer branding, because I've got some background in employer branding and recruitment as well. So I would look at the website. If there is any lawsuit against the company, I would stay away, not even put my application. So obviously branding you touched upon very nicely.
Glassdoor. That's another
absolutely.
amazing
You'll close the door,
platform for reviews.
and that candidate could be your potential customer as well. If it's a telco, if it's a retail, so it could be your potential customer. You're losing out on that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coming to the penalties, I think there was a very interesting report which was released for the real cost of payroll. I mean, what does it really cost? I mean, this is for the US market, but very relevant on the penalties. So there has been the IRS of the US has collected a staggering amount of $7 billion in 2021.
Wow.
Towards penalties.
Wow.
And the penalties were due to the mistake in the payroll calculations, the paycheck errors. And that's a huge number. I mean,
It's a huge
close
number.
to about, I think, an estimated 85 or 82 million employers were affected.
Wow.
And a third of them faced problems. So close to 20 million faced this problem.
Imagine if you take it to the global
Penalties,
scale.
precisely,
If you take it to the global scale, what that number
Absolutely.
could be. And that's where AI and ML is coming into
Yes.
play, right?
So ease of computing
Correct.
and giving you errorless situations, I guess.
So I think, Shivani, both compliance, fines from financial side, if you see those staggering numbers, they're like amazing, right?
These are some mind-boggling numbers.
Imagine what if you multiply that number to the brand equity loss of those organizations. They are like, hundreds and billions of dollars, right? So that's where it is important that payroll is impeccable in any organization who actually wants to drive that employee experience part of it.
And I think it's more than money. It's
absolutely.
brand reputation. You have your employee trust at stake for this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If I may add, Shivani, I'm
Yeah.
sorry jumping into your part, Milind, with the Glassdoor and many other platforms, which is so transparent.
Absolutely.
Anyone can go and leave a review about the company, about the CEOs, about the practices, and imagine, having, errors or issues with your payroll or any other HR function, how it impacts your brand, recognition among, potential employees or even the talent that you're looking to recruit. So definitely, hopefully with the help of AI, we can somehow manage that risk and reduce that risk.
To a large extent.
Yes.
To a large
Yes, yes.
extent. Yes.
Thank you. Anirudh, if you could also share some situations where we, like Task Corporate Services, has prevented such penalizing situation for any of our clients.
Oh, so task corporate service. I will take it to the group level, Shivani,
Yeah.
because COVID has been a great learning for all of us. I think in this our lifetime, I think it has been a great teacher to all of us. I think when we were in the early stages of lockdown, when we could see it, I think, and as I said, our outsourced workforce numbers were huge, right? So we have 5,000 people there. So we had to make sure that even if the lockdown happens, and even if people can't travel, or even if our payroll accountants are not able to get to the to the physical location of their offices, we have put in systems which are cloud-based system, which we were talking about with Ramco as partner, and we ensured that everybody has the required accesses. Everybody has the required information. We enabled the chat bot for people to put in their attendance so that physical paper goes away, because transmission was impossible at that point of time. Physical transmissions were stopped. So we put in chatbot in place. We put in SaaS and cloud-based technologies in place. We give accesses to our payroll accountants on time, so that make sure that payroll happens for everybody during that time. It was quite a difficult time for everybody, right? People were nervous, scared. They had family members sick. So that payout was very, very critical for our brand. And thanks to the technology that we had, we could enable that for all our 5,000 plus associates at that point of time.
Very good. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you for explaining this, Anirudh. Moving on to the last question of our session, I will request if Fiza and Anna, both of you, can answer this. It's a long question. How do you envision continued evolution of AI-powered HR and payroll, shaping not only the employee experience, but also broader landscape of workforce management and organizational success?
That's a great question. And actually, yeah, we could spend, I believe, the second podcast, discussing only this question. So maybe, let us face the elephant in the room. Yeah, the question, will AI take my job?
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is what we keep hearing, regardless the profession, regardless the industry. Yeah, and that's a very important question. And I'm not sure that we fully know the answer of it. But what is quite exciting for me, and based on the report that Fiza was mentioning, this World Economic Forum Future of Job, they say that there are 69 million jobs globally coming in the new areas like data management, environment technology, science, and so on so far. Sounds quite exciting. But let's say, what about payroll specialists? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like what about these jobs? Will it change? Well, certainly yes, and maybe we know the answer on that. It will change, and the number of payroll specialists required will reduce. But as a HR, I should say that how hard it is now to find a payroll specialist. Somehow it's not the job anymore which inspire young people, like they are much more in all exactly this data, environment, innovations, and everything. So it is changing, but somehow it is changing naturally, like linked with what is happening on the market. So the changes are inevitable, and we were using these words today a few times, and actually there will be moments then it will not be easy, right, and required a lot of transactions, a lot of transformations. We all need to go on with continuous learnings and so on so far. But the good side of that, like that we all can become more social, more strategical, more inspirational, regardless the function that we work at. Okay. So that's what I think.
If I can pick on one thing from you, Anna, payroll specialist, you have on the table.
Shivani is telling.
Shivani, actually, that's amazing. It doesn't mean, by the way, that there won't be job of payroll specialist. It means that the nature of the job of payroll specialist will absolutely different. Correct. And think about transaction that instead of amazing job of entering data and checking and everything, it's very nice and it's hugely important. Yeah. But think about that you become a business advisor to Anirudh, yeah, like speaking about cash flow in the future, speaking about the changes. So the nature of your job will become absolutely different.
So it is intellectually much higher than what they are doing today,
exactly.
right? Sorry,
exactly.
over to you.
Yeah, I think we all agree in this room that, you know, if we adopt and use AI wisely and correctly, it has several benefits for employees as end users as well as organizations. You know, real life data, with the help of AI, we have access to data around workforce trends, insights, addressing the gap in knowledge and planning our succession management or workforce talent management. You talked about generational workforce, Anna, earlier, and especially with the younger generation, millennials, zillennials, and other, snowflake. I heard somewhere, the way it is referred to. They talk about sustainability, innovation, culture. That's what matters for them, and how we can utilize AI to create more value-adding jobs for our employees and the workforce, and for business as well. Definitely increased communication, reduced cost, time and efforts. I mean, the list can go on and on. If we all pull up our brains, we can go on and on talking about the benefits of AI. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the implementation and many other factors that we have touched, from compliance to credibility, reliance, the change management, and so on.
Thank you. I think that was the last question for the round for today. I see there are many questions which have come up from the audience for now, but then if I can read out the one which is the most prominent one is, how are jobs still safe? I think we discussed and we touched somewhere already on this, but how are jobs still safe with AI in the picture? Would you like to comment, anyone?
Sure. I can. I think, in my opinion, AI will help you to definitely make well-informed decisions, right? Based on data, based on analytics which we have, based on the reduction of anomalies. I would say, AI wouldn't be taking the jobs away. It would make your job easy. Like, for example, I gave an example of how an HR can be used as a strategic department rather than just asking questions and FAQ. So build your AI, have your chatbots ready, which can give you all the answers with regards to your questions. So AI, I think we should hold it back a little bit. AI is not here to take our jobs. And I would encourage, like you said about the younger generation, to take up, because payroll is something they step back and know, I don't want to take this, but use it as a tool. With a little bit of upskilling with the new generation, it could be a great way forward.
I will let Fiza add to that, and then then Anna, you can, and then I will put my comments through.
Yeah, I think again for us as HR leaders to emphasize, we're not deploying AI to replace humans. Rather, we are empowering humans to use AI to their benefit. Yes, the way we work, the skills are required are changing. We probably need more analytical skills, more social, more influencing skills in future, which we need to train our workforce. Yes, the labor market is changing, and maybe over 40%, again, the same report I'm referring, will be somehow different, will change the jobs we do. And for us, we just need to embrace this change and make a positive impact for everyone. One thing is, for sure, I want to highlight, AI shouldn't be in control of humans or making decisions. Decisions and the control sits with us as humans. And when things go wrong, we need to blame someone. And that someone will be, of course, us humans.
Well, actually we live in a very dynamic world, right? And AI only brings this pace to us, only increase the pace. My mother worked at the same place for 40 years, right? Wow. Do we have many stories like that now? I'm not sure, right? Really. And like again, some more figures, some more numbers. They say that we all will change our careers in this or that way 2-3 times through our lifetime, and not only because of AI, but partially it will influence us. Yeah, like we will need to learn, we will need to adopt, we will need to change. Sometimes it will be easy and flying. Sometimes it will require really a huge change, right? Not without that. But, well, that's actually the beauty of the world we're living in, right? That you can have different careers, you can have multiple things that you're doing on the different areas in your life. So will AI change the nature of our jobs? It will. Will it reduce some jobs? Certainly it will. But like exactly to Fisa's point, yeah, like till and hopefully a long time, the control will stay with humans. Yeah, like we really can be devoting our careers to the things which we are truly inspirational about. And that's the beauty of it.
Thank you. Yes,
So,
Anurag.
if I may just, I couldn't agree more with what all of you said. Will AI take away jobs? Maybe yes, some of them, right? But will AI create jobs as well? I think it would, right? I think what AI is going to do, as I read some of the books, that it is going to force the humankind to think much higher cognitively, right? It is going to help us think beyond the day-to-day. It is going to help us contribute more to business, from a strategic perspective. I think AI is going to transform. I am extremely inspired by what UAE does, right? So if you see this country, everything that they do, again, I emphasize on that, they keep the user experience at the center of their innovation, right? Whether paying a utility bill, whether you are getting your driving license renewed, whether you are crossing the immigration gate, I think they have brought technology in such a way that they keep the user experience at the center of it. I think that's what AI is going to do, and that's going to retool the jobs of the people who are behind it. Should we pivot? Absolutely. We have to pivot. We have to look beyond the day-to-day, and we have to start educating ourselves, as Anna said. How do we embrace the technology that's going to, help us stay in the game for a longer term, right? I don't know where the end game is, but yes, it will help us stay longer in the game, I think so. So that would be my submission to it.
I think
Sorry, if I can add a very relevant quote of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed. So he always says that either you change or be changed.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think
Exactly.
AI
Evident.
is the way forward.
Exactly.
And,
Evident.
I think we embrace the change, like you said earlier.
Evident.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for helping us understand and giving your viewpoints on AI and how we can enhance the employee experience with AI-powered HR and payroll services. Now, just to end with, I will ask everyone a quick question. If I can go with you first, it's an impromptu question. Please don't look at me. Don't stare at me.
In that case, AI would answer the question for you. I won't.
Please help. What's the best piece of advice that you have ever received?
From my 11-year-old son, many of them as of today.
Okay.
But to be honest, if you keep reading, right, there's so many things which come. Sorry, I will keep it short. The best piece of advice I heard and read and learned and reinforced is that keep yourself open to learning, because the day you stop learning, the day you stop growing. Yeah, it's end of you, right? Yeah. So I think that's one of the biggest and the best advice I ever got in my lifetime.
Thank you. Next one for you, Anna. If you could eliminate one thing from your daily routine, what would it be?
Oh, it's a difficult one, actually. Can I respond vice versa? If I can improve one thing in my daily routine,
Yes,
like
please.
what it will be. So definitely sleep, and these things, it helps me a lot to measure and really to understand that actually the depth, the quality, and the regime in your sleep is crucial for everything, for your mood, for your productivity, from how
Right.
happy human you are.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Next one's for me, you, Milind. If you could pick up a new skill in an instant, what would that be?
Love to learn guitar. I love music.
It's amazing.
Oh, we have an
So,
ex-musician
yeah.
here.
Right next to her. Yeah. And learning again, like Anirudh said, I think you keep
Yeah.
learning.
Yeah.
So
And you keep growing.
What is
growing,
stopping
absolutely.
you?
Sitting
Very good
next.
question. I think I've got an inspiration now. So yes, straight to the classes, enroll myself. Yeah.
Okay, last one's for you, Fiza. How would you like to retire, and when would you like to retire?
Oh wow! Yesterday. No, I mean seriously thinking. Yeah, retirement is something that we don't really look forward, but if it should be a positive thing as well. It's not only about you're aging and getting old and etc. It's just finding a time to do more fun stuff that brings joy to yourself. And for me, I think it will be traveling and maybe doing some of the charitable activities around the world. And I'm working really hard towards my early retirement, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, thank you. And I don't think that retirement is just an age. It is
No.
your
State of
mind
mind.
space,
Yes.
state of
Yes.
mind.
State
Yeah?
of mind.
Yeah. Now I am done. All right. Thank you so much, audience, for joining in. We'll close now, and if you have any questions which are left unanswered from the panel right now, I would request please drop in the comments section. We'll come back to you either via our LinkedIn channel or in our next webinar session. Thank you so much for joining in. Stay tuned to Task Corporate Services.
Thank you so much.